Hey everybody, TJ Vickers with LPT Realty and for the San Antonio and surrounding area.
I'm Jim Flaherty with Cigars International Superstore San Antonio.
And on this episode, we have touched base on cut and light and different styles of or different ways to light your cigars. On this series, we want to touch base on lighter maintenance. A lot of times people buy these really high-end lighters just because it seems like the right thing to do, but then shortly after the lighter quits lighting, it won't hold a flame or it's not the desired flame amount. So we kind of want to touch base on that just so everybody knows there's not a difference in torch lighters so much, but there is a difference in how many burners, different styles of flames. So we're going to kind of touch base on all that. So today we have Jim again. Jim's in all of our videos with us. He's got the credentials that helps us out with that. So we're going to lean on him a little bit to give us the tips and tricks to lighter maintenance.
So you need fire to light a cigar. Everyone knows that. As long as you have a device that produces fire, you can light a cigar. You can light it from your oven if you wanted to. You can't carry an oven around. So we have portable methods. The first thing when you're looking for a lighter that you need to consider is the form factor. What I mean by that is what's going to be the main purpose. Is it going to be something that you just sit on the table and share with your friends? Or is it going to be something that you want to have in your pocket or in your cigar case and travel with? So there's different sizes, and this will lend itself to describe whether or not it's a table lighter or pocket lighter. First, table lighter. It's we have a lot of Xikar products out, but first table lighter that we have, this is from Xikar. It's large, it's round, it's heavy. You don't want to walk around with this thing, but you can put it in a table in the middle of your friends and everyone can pick it up and use it very easily. So like TJ was saying, there really isn't too much difference with things that produce fire. They look different, but the guts are pretty much the same. This guy is what we call a quad torch. That means that there are 4 burners lined up that each shoot out a jet of flame. So for this one, all you're going to do is press this button here, and there's a flame. What I like about this is it has the ability to close the top, so it protects it from moisture, and it's super easy to adjust the flame height by this giant round, it's the entire base of the lighter. Its little brother comes in a 2-flame torch. So if you'll notice, there's 2 jets that are spitting out fire. Smaller, still same form factor where it's round. Probably best for a cigar case. Then we get into what you'd like to put in your pocket. This is a single flame that, again, you can adjust the flame height by twisting the base at the bottom, and it's super easy. The different reasons for the different flames. So when you're first lighting up a cigar, you're going to want a real broad flame that is going to light the entire foot, so you don't have to move it around all that much. When you're touching cigars up, you want it to be a little more precise. So that's when you'll see a single flame come in handy, because it's a little more surgical in its use. So I'm in the military, I'm in the reserves, and something that I enjoy is just a little comfort is having a cigar when I can just drop my pack and getting ready to hit the rack. This little guy I carry with me always. Actually, this and its brother that I'm about to mention has a huge fuel tank that you can see how much fuel you have left. The top of it is designed as a cigar rest, so you don't need to bring an extra cigar rest with you. And the fuel seems to last forever, so I really enjoy it. Just manually flip the top up, and you have a very strong single flame. And just like the 3 previous, you turn the entire base of the lighter to just the flame. This is called the Xikar tactical single flame. This is a Xikar tactical triple flame. Another thing I like about these is they have removable pocket clips. So you can hook it to your belt, it doesn't get lost, it stays attached. If you're wearing something with MOLLE webbing, you can clip it onto your MOLLE. And they do come in flat black.
Removed.
That one was removed, yeah, just like this one. So this is the flat black that I was talking about, to avoid any reflections. Again, with the triple light, you have 3 flames, and if you can see, the outside 2 flames are pointed towards the middle flame. And what this does is create almost one big flame that gets a little more centered, and it does assist a great deal in lighting cigars. This guy is $11, $12, and it's very easy to operate. Pull it down, and you have a flame. Whereas the tactical, this is $99.99, and the single flame is $67.99. And we'll get into price and if it means anything at all in a little bit. When we're talking about flame shapes, it really is personal preference with how you want the flame to interact with the cigar. This is something called a flat flame, and it's a little tough to see, but it comes out looking like a spade. And what that does is it makes it easier for what we call painting the foot. So when you first light it, it's very broad flame. So as you go back and forth, you don't have to keep going around because it should cover the entire foot of the cigar. Also looks kind of cool. We have a hybrid. So I used the term hard flame. Everything that I've shown so far is a hard flame. That's where it's a very, it's a flame that defies gravity. It's going the same direction that it's meant to, no matter which direction that I put it. Soft flame is much like a Bic lighter, which I'll introduce in a second. This is a hybrid. This is a lighter that you can only get at Cigars International. It's called the Hydron and is $139.99. What's neat about this one is that you have a hard flame in the center, a single torch, but it's surrounded by a soft flame. So you get the best of both worlds, if that's what you're looking for. And what you'll find is it's almost a little more gentle on the cigar and the lighting process. So you still get the ability to light it from any angle, but you also get the softness of being able to draw a flame to the cigar. And that's why it segues into the soft flame. The soft flame is good, and the reason it has a purpose, the reason that I can use this as easily as any of the rest of them, is because it's fire, but when you light it, you'll notice that the flame will draw to you. This is also from Xikar. This is a new design that they made. You flip it, and it's a soft flame that comes right up. Now, obviously this is not gravity defying. It's going to point up no matter what direction you have it, and it will extinguish if you go upside down. But very easy to use, kind of fancy, bulky, so it's not good for a pocket lighter. And then, again, it's personal preference. There are some cigar connoisseurs, aficionados, that only use Bic lighters, and that's because of the way when you draw air through the cigar, it pulls the flame to the foot and allows it to heat up from the inside and get lit properly. All personal preference. That goes into form factor. It's about what you like carrying around. It's about what you want to have. Some people go for looks. They want to impress their friends and they get something super fancy. That's fine. That's nice. This is a Cigars International lighter that we offer. Has a little smiley on the end. And something it offers is a color changing flame. So it starts out with the 4 blue jets and then changes it from yellow, orange to this red that you see now. So just something a little fun to incorporate into the whole cigar smoking experience.
So Jim, on those lighters, the one thing I see in common is all of them are butane based.
Absolutely.
So what we don't want to get into is the old Zippo lighters that you can totally ruin a cigar with. You get that lighter fluid taste. Matches tend to be okay if you let the sulfur burn off. The cedar, we use that as well. But so there's, along with these lighters, one of the things that we want to touch base on, because a lot of new people to the cigar world that see these nice fancy lighters, I got to say, I was guilty too of the same thing. When I first bought my first really nice lighter, I didn't know that you had to bleed these things when you fill them. And if you don't, they will vapor lock. And you'll think that you have $130, $140 fishing weight. So now that we've touched a little bit on that, let's talk about how to maintain these lighters so we get the most for our money on these lighters.
Hey TJ, are you low on fuel right now?
I am.
Oh, let me see if I can help you right out with that.
Here's another thing. While we're on that low of fuel, just so y'all know, I filled this lighter before I came to Cigar International Day. I had a group of guys that were there. We used the whole tank of fuel, lighting cigars, and then we're low again. So that being said, I guess that says I have the community lighter. So
did you plan on that?
I never planned on it. It just worked out that way. So here's the other thing I want to touch on while we're touching on this, and it gets away from lighters a little bit. Well, kind of. It seems like I have the community lighter. I'm a guy that likes to hand out cigars anyways.
Sure.
I have the cutters. Don't mind that either. But the one thing I can stress is we're a very giving community, but let's not be the guy that just shows up with just the habit. If you're going to smoke and you're going to enjoy cigars, purchase one every now and then. Don't show up with just the habit, no lighter, because if I've got to cut it for you, if I have to bring the cigar for you, cut it for you, and supply the lighter, I might as well smoke it for you too. So
yeah, absolutely. So, and that touches on cigar lounge etiquette, and this is under the rule of don't be a mooch. So on to refilling it. TJ mentioned bleeding it. So when you have a brand new lighter, there should be nothing in there. You're gonna want to bleed it. So CI, we offer this fancy tool. It's by Xikar, and on one end, covered by a cap, there is a purging valve. You'll notice on this side there's a cutout hole to allow trapped air to escape. Now, if you do this and you see color coming out, that means it's fuel. It's going to come out like a white mist. Looks like a fog almost, a really aggressive fog. And you can hear it still hissing. So this is full of air. So what happens is, as you use the fuel, air will come into the tank, and the reason you need to bleed it is that air takes room. It has volume, and it doesn't leave space for the fuel. So if you're doing this for a while and it just kind of keeps going, if you give it a shake while you depress the fuel stem, it sometimes helps.
Hey, let me jump in there really quick with a disclosure. Make sure that vent is pointed away from you, not to your face, because that's the last thing we need is people going, Jim told me to do it this way.
Don't say that. So I did this so you could see it. The proper way to do this is follow gravity. So you want the air to come out, let it fall out of, for lack of better terms, let it fall out of the lighter. So you do that holding the lighter right side up, and then you're gonna flip it upside down as well as your butane can to fill it. Now, most of these lighters have a real convenient window, and Zycar, Colibri does it as well, Paleo, they have a color that is in here. So Zycar chose red. So as I fuel this up, you'll see the red start to grow. So all you're going to do is align the stem and then push down. Just gently. When you hear it stop hissing, that's when you should be good. If you want to give it a check, again, if you see a white cloud like that, that's fuel that's being ejected. If you hear the hissing sound and again see no color, that's air that's being released, and that is taking the space of your fuel. So it may take a few times to fuel it and purge it, fuel it again, but at the end, always do an operations check, and you're golden.
I appreciate that. And again, guys, the reason we want to do that is if you don't, I've had a few lighters that vapor lock because the air actually gets trapped inside the system. And when you're spending that kind of money on a quality lighter, that's the last thing you want to deal with is being out there trying to light a cigar and having it vapor lock on you, and then you're still borrowing somebody's lighter.
So I have this tool. You don't need this tool. I have a matchstick that I just drew out. This is also a perfect option to use to purge a lighter because the circumference fits right into the purging area, and the wood is soft enough that it's not going to damage the stem. So, little pro tip for you. I hope that helps, and thanks again for joining us. Appreciate having you.
Yep. Guys, also, I know this is a little bit longer video than what we normally do, but I want to touch base. We have a cut and light up here. Jim actually does a cut and light up here quite a bit, and he does pairings with different cigars, with different bourbons, different whiskeys. We're going to start in the future doing some pairings with some other alcoholic adult beverages. So y'all keep your eye out for that. It's going to be a good time and a fun time off location of CI. But in the meantime, kind of want to touch base on that. That way y'all know that it's coming up. Y'all can keep your eye out on the channel for when those events are going to happen. So maybe we can get y'all in here and enjoy some of the different pairings of different cigars with different alcohol blends.
So hope to see you there. Sláinte.